It's time for another Panel Trellis update. Excited to show you guys what's inside, so let's go. First, let's talk about this beautiful entrance that I have to my garden. It is full of morning glories. I have the big, bright purple morning glories. I have carnival morning glories, and I also have a cardinal climber that is really taking over on this side. This is just getting more and more full of flowers, and it's a beautiful way to enter or exit your garden. Welcome to the squash and the zucchini. This stuff is going crazy. We've been picking it for a while already, and yeah, we planted a lot. I would say for next year, these probably will not be on a cattle panel, and we'll just put them on the edge part of the garden because it is keeping them in an upright position, but it's probably not as necessary to keep them going upward as some of the other plants. I have to admit, when it comes to the Panel Trellis Garden, this one has got to be my favorite. These are the pole beans, and there is nothing like, hello, can you see me? I am covered with beans that are just hanging all the way through the tunnel, all the way down the sides. It makes it so easy to just pick them right up above your head and, have a morning snack with your coffee. Now, a couple of tips with growing pole beans. Number one, they're sticking to my clothes, but really, number one is that they actually like a cooler season. So you can start them like we did early spring, and now we're getting into the middle of July, and in Michigan, it's where it's hot and it's humid, and sprinklers, soaker hoses that are down below are on all the time. And because these like the cooler weather, you can go ahead and plant more kind of mid-season. Last weekend, I went through and I put down a whole bunch more. So as these start to die off, those are gonna catch up, and we should be able to maintain this for a little bit longer than our normal growing season. And the second thing that you're gonna wanna be aware of is these can easily be attacked by Japanese beetles. We were having an issue with that. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys on how you want to treat them. You can do it organically with different sprays. You could actually use something that is made for Japanese beetles or other bugs that would infest your leaves and start to eat these leaves. Or you can wait until you've gone through and you've picked a whole bunch of your pole beans and then spray it, but you're always gonna have beans. It's really hard to get away from these guys and catch up on them. One thing that I like to do is fill up a bowl of water, put a little dish soap on top, and you can go under the leaf and tap it, and then they will fall right in and you can catch them that way. I can feed them to the chickens. It's a win-win. And just for reference, if you go back to my first video of the Panel Trellis, we'll make a comparison of what this shot looked like from then to now. We're halfway through the growing season, but that's okay. There's lots more to look at. Now it's time to talk about the sugar snap peas. All right, so this has been going really well. You can see how amazing this side is. And the peas, look at how big and beautiful they are. I have to say, this was a lesson learned. We had bunny rabbits, and they're so stinking cute. They were never in the garden, and I wasn't doing a lot to protect the garden from the bunny rabbits. As you can see on this side, it is not as lush as this side. Bunny rabbits were getting in the garden. They were eating just the plant down at the bottom, which then of course kills everything up above. So let me show you real quick a product that you can use to safely keep the bunny rabbits out of your garden. This is something called Shake Away. I highly recommend this. If you are doing anything like we are, you gotta get yourself some Shake Away. This is actually a fox urine granule. Now, I want you to be aware, it actually has 5% real fox urine in it and 95% other ingredients. So again, this is something that you guys have to make a decision on your own if you want to use, but it does work. It's never going to go on your plants or actually around your plants. You're going to put this around the entire surface area of your gardens. But as soon as you have a heavy rain, make sure you come out and do it again, because this girl didn't. And the rabbits took the advantage of not being able to smell this. Otherwise, they smell this and they think it's some kind of a predator that has marked their territory, and they won't come into your garden. So if you are going to use this, be consistent. And I'm gonna have another pee. Now, in my last video, I was showing you how I would attach these to the trellis to keep them going in a certain direction. And before we walk away from the sugar snaps, I'm gonna do a couple of them and I'll show you. This is my twist ties that are actually made for gardening. And I'm just gonna gently hook one of these. And again, these are a lot more fragile than the cucumbers, which I can just throw all over the place and not worry about it. So I gently pull, and then I can hook on the other side, and that's gonna encourage it to continue to grow in the direction that I want. And when the new ones come in, I'm gonna have to be more diligent about hooking these to the panels. Now let's talk about the tomato plants. Obviously, these have grown a lot since the last video too, and you're really gonna wanna make sure you're coming out and you are taking off any of the branches at the bottom that are starting to die off and look like this. You want to get rid of them because your plant is going to keep trying to actually make this survive, and it's taking the energy away from the beautiful tomatoes underneath. We do come out as much as we can and trim those off. Also, again, with this handy dandy garden twist ties, we go through and try and hook these back as much as we possibly can. Otherwise, you end up getting big, huge branches like this. Got some amazing tomatoes going on underneath. Tomatoes have always been a struggle for us. We are learning. I am no expert. This channel is for beginners. If you are the first time here, we are growing together. We are growing with Angie. I'm learning as I go, and hopefully if this channel makes it 5 or 10 years, I will have all of this figured out. Now, this obviously is not on a cattle panel, but some of the other things in the garden I just cannot show you because we're so excited. Do you see this? All the way down to the end. This is watermelon. Look at these watermelons. We're starting to pick a couple and they're not quite ready yet. And that's kind of one of those things that you pick them up and you feel the weight and you think this has got to be ready, and you pick the watermelon, it's not quite ready. So we're gonna let the watermelons go a little bit longer. But one of the things that we're gonna start doing is now trimming off a lot of these runners that are just kind of going all over the place. And it's really sad because there are tiny, tiny little baby watermelons at the base of these. That's going all the way that way and all the way that way. But by bringing it in, it's going to allow focus on to the actual watermelons that have taken off, and not try and start new babies way down there. But this is a plentiful amount of a watermelon plant. It's going all the way up my yard, guys. Just for comparison's sake, from one video to another, these are the jalapeno peppers, these are the cauliflower, and behind me is the broccoli. You can see with the jalapeno, we are getting actually quite a few. We've picked a lot already. We love adding jalapeno to just about anything. We are a spicy family. This is our broccoli, and so we're really starting to get a lot of broccoli that we can now cut off. And then what do you do with all the leaves? Well, some people do eat broccoli leaves, but all of this type of stuff goes to the chickens. This is just an amazing amount of beautiful fresh greens that the chickens get, and then it goes in to their eggs, which produces beautiful, healthy eggs for us. So I always say, happy chicken, happy eggs. Now, this actually has to be one of my husband's favorites, and I have to say, yuck. Absolutely disgusting. This is Brussels sprouts. So if you like Brussels sprouts, then you probably think this is a yum. So leave a comment down below if you like Brussels sprouts or not, and we can debate that later. But this is really how your Brussels sprouts grow. It's right up at the center of the stalk, and here they come off the middle. So as this gets taller and bigger, more little babies are gonna grow. So these get really big, and then it's almost like chopping down a tree and getting inside and getting out those Brussels sprouts. Here's another fun one is cabbage. This whole row is cabbage. There are cabbage heads really tightly growing in the middle, but all of these big, huge leaves, again, are gonna go to the chickens, and cabbage has got to be one of their favorite things. And I would be sad if I didn't introduce you to my pumpkins. My pumpkins are going all the way up and down. They're going outside of the actual fencing area, and we do have some pumpkins starting. They are also very late season, and I'm actually being swarmed by bumblebees, so I'm gonna let them do their work and get out of here quick. These are all of our pepper plants. So we have a lot of pepper plants in this big, huge row. We've already been picking these, so there's not a lot on here right now. There's a few babies, so we're gonna let them go, but they kind of go in a cycle. You wait until your pepper gets big enough, cut it off, come back out, and the plant starts really feeding into some of the new ones, and they will give you peppers for a very long time. Thanks for taking this tour with me. I think I'm gonna go grab my cup of coffee, a good book, and I might sit underneath and chill out with my beans. We'll see you on the next episode.